Yeah.
You made a video about the dangers of being a mama's boy.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that because
Yeah.
I am one. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I made that video because I am one. I was one as well. And so, yeah, being a mama's boy is okay. So it's the mother son dynamic is very interesting. It depends on the culture, but well, generally speaking, there's a lot of pressure for kids generally, but especially like Asian cultures.
Yeah.
Even more so, to be a good son, be a good daughter, be there for the parent, right? Now, in this case, in this dynamic, the son being there for the mom, and so typically the mother is domineering, controlling, can use either overt or sneaky covert ways of using guilt and shame on the child to keep the child in line, and also subconsciously dependent on the mother. And so the son grows up in life thinking that I just have a close relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe even struggles later on in life to figure out like, okay, well, now I have a partner in life. I got my mom. Who do I prioritize?
Right.
The fact that they even asked that shows that mom and boy's dynamic of how the mother has groomed that son to be.
Wow.
To prioritize her needs over pretty much everyone else's. Right. And that's very Asian culture too. The mother's needs are the most important because I know better. But really what's happening is that mother has a fear of abandonment too. She's afraid of being abandoned. She wants to feel important because she's not getting it from her husband. She didn't get it growing up.
Right.
She wants to get it from her son. You see that?
Oh, that makes sense.
So she
Yeah,
wants the
because the
son.
Asian culture is tough. So
Yeah.
they never got that love.
You got a lot of pain, a lot of trauma there. I mean, all cultures got trauma, but yeah, that's the flavor of Asian culture is that
Right.
is that dynamic. Other things that can happen too, depends. For me, I'll speak for myself. There was what's called emotional incest, and so what emotional incest is it's where the parent is basically turning their child into a surrogate partner emotionally.
Wow.
Right? It's not conscious, right? They're not saying like, oh, this is going to be my boyfriend, but they're treating them like one, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. They're treating that child as their emotional support vehicle to complain about their life, to complain about, my mom would complain about her husbands to me, right? She got a lot of husbands. She complained about all of them to me.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like her boyfriend, metaphorically, that she would dump all this crap onto vent on and expect all this emotional support constantly, right? And so that also creates a lot of this sort of mama's boy dynamic that is actually extremely destructive to a child's development to come into their own, to be able to, have more ownership of their own emotional experience and their own needs, because they abandon themselves for the mother. They spend a lifetime doing that. And so, and then they will also do the same thing with their partner. Because again, remember, we date people that are similar to our parents. So you might find yourself abandoning yourself for your partner, either people pleasing, or when it gets too much, then you go into avoidance, right? So it becomes a slingshot. So mama's boys do this. How does that resonate with you?
Dude, I was a massive people pleaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like strangers. Like
Yeah,
I would put them over like close family.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's groomed to do so.
Yeah.
Because what would happen if you didn't please, or let me ask you this. Who did you find yourself pleasing the most? Your mother, your father, or who?
Oh, I really liked my dad. My mom was tough on me academically. She was the Asian one. My dad's the white one. I'd want to please I rebelled against my mother in high school. I started failing classes on purpose. So it got really kind of toxic, honestly.
But before that, though, how do you remember being?
Before I wanted to please my mother, but then I had that rebellious phase.
Yeah, so before the rebellious phase, there was the strong drive to please.
Yeah, whether it was piano, whatever she wanted me to do. Yeah.
Right. That's still your core programming there.
Yeah.
Right. And as it was for me. And then let me ask you this. If you made a mistake, if you didn't do what she wanted, what would she do?
Oh, she would scream.
Exactly.
When I was younger, she would slap.
Yeah, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
A lot of pain, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why people pleasing is so strong. It's trying to cope with that pain.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I never realized why I was like that.
Yeah, it's that phantom pain of I don't want to be punished. I don't want to be, like I did something bad. I don't want to be yelled at or screamed at or
Right.
criticized. Or I don't want that negative, unsafe feeling. So I'm just going to people please.
And because of that trauma, I have lost millions of dollars in business.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to please everyone and put others before me.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. And I
Yeah.
never realized it was from that. Holy crap.
Well, it's natural.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Every human's doing that. They're just playing out their childhood conditioning and programming. It's unconscious. And quite honestly, we got to meet it with compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to judge it, but that's so stupid to do these things. But there's a reason why. And we understand the reason why. It's like, it's just compassion. Like that child is so scared. That's why he did those things, or he or she did those things.
Wow.
And so you just want to meet that with compassion. That of course you did those things because of how much pain you experienced as a child. Same thing for me and my wife, and everyone I worked with, and just people out there. Of course you did those coping mechanisms with the people pleasing, the withdrawing, the shutting down, because you experienced so much pain. That was the only way you could figure out how to intelligently avoid more of that pain from your mother, for example, right? Because that compassionate piece is so important because that's what allows that part of yourself to feel understood and loved. And then you can do obviously go deeper and do, inner work to process more of that pain, which then frees you up to be able to stop people pleasing or shutting down or hiding the emotions or not expressing yourself, whatever those things are.